What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. But this video is entitled Don't Be Afraid to Take the First Step. Life is interesting where sometimes people have a fear of the unknown and think so far ahead that they think themselves out of taking the first step. You know, say if you're trying to lose weight or change your body or work out, you talk yourself out of the process of starting. Maybe you got to take a jog, a mile jog. You're afraid to take the first step. You know, you come up with a million excuses of why you can't do it, or the sun is shining, it's drizzling. It might be drizzling hot lava. I don't want to burn to death. Because the standard of yourself that you may have to accomplish whatever goal you set forth might cause you to actually put in more work than you wanted to. And because of that, you don't want to do it. It's kind of like stage fright. You're afraid to take the first step because once you get on the stage, ain't no turning back. You got to get in front of the mic. You got to, maybe public speaking. You may be afraid to speak your mind publicly. And I'm saying don't be afraid to do it. Like, same thing goes with dating, relationships. A lot of times people are scared to say hello, to speak, to shoot their shot, right? To go out there and just put it on the line. And, life is too short because a lot of times people regret that first step because you don't really regret not being some big like some extraordinary person that you might have of yourself in your mind. You regret not being able to take that first step to even take the journey. So when you're too afraid to take the journey, it eats at you because you don't know if you're going to succeed or fail if you don't take a step forward. And I think the first step is the most important and the hardest one to take because taking that first step is a decision. That's when you actually putting your mentality in action. That's when you actually putting your money where your mouth is. You taking that step, that leap of faith. And for some of us, that leap of faith is very difficult, because we don't want to fail. And that's another fear of taking the first step is fear of failure. Don't be afraid to fail. Some of the most successful people have failed at numerous things because they're not afraid of failure. They weren't afraid to take the first step and say, hey, this may work, this may not work, but I'm going to at least know, And on the flip side of that coin, you have people who are afraid of success. They feel like they got all the tools, but they don't know if they can handle success. So they afraid of taking the first step because, they don't want the pressure of success or the pressure of doing it over or the pressure of people recognizing them and so forth. So they're afraid of taking the first step. So this is why I'm saying what I'm saying about don't be afraid to take the first step. Because ultimately, what's going to wind up happening is you damn yourself either way. You damn yourself if you don't take the first step. And you damn yourself in a sense of fear of the unknown. Because some people are afraid of the unknown, like I was talking about earlier. But you'll damn yourself, because if you don't take the first step, you're doomed to always think of the unknown. You have no knowledge of how it actually would have ended, because you didn't initiate a direction. Thus, part of the problem. Now, a lot of times people don't want to take it into consideration that, you know, some people have a lack of confidence, and some people need a support system, or people to pat them on their back, and people to pump up their ego to give them the what can I say, the confidence to believe in themselves. Well, everybody don't have that. And sometimes you got to believe in yourself, you know, outside of everybody. And, you know, you scared of taking the first step because you're scared that you might have to be your own cheerleader. You might have to be a person who puts yourself out there and looks crazy because you're the only one that sees it in yourself. You're the only one that believes in you. But don't be afraid of that. I mean, personally, I would rather know than not know. But a lot of people who don't want to know usually are stuck. And what I mean by stuck is, how can I say this? They're stuck in the ideology that has them procrastination, procrastination by it's mental procrastination, because you're letting your mind put it off. It has to be perfect. That's another thing. You're scared to take the first step because you think you have to start from a certain place when you don't. You don't have to be in a perfect situation. All the cards don't have to be in your favor. All the stars don't have to be aligned. You just got to go. But some people are afraid to take the first step because either paralysis of analysis is what I was trying to say. Either you think if you don't have it all together, it'll never end properly the way you envision it, or you think you got a lot to lose and you're not willing to risk it. So having a fear of taking the first step, you got to be willing to risk something. There's a risk with everything and there's a reward with everything. And sometimes you got nothing to lose. Sometimes we think that we're losing, that we have more to lose than we do. And we just don't want to take into consideration, maybe it ain't that serious. Maybe I don't have it all to lose right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. Some of us don't want to be responsible. And when you take the first step, that makes you responsible for your actions. You can't put it on nobody else. It's not your upbringing. It's not your neighborhood. It's not your parents. It's not somebody or who did something. It's you. It's all you at that particular point. You took the bull by the horns. And sometimes, people are afraid to take the first step because you take the first step, you take the bull by the horns, and you take on the accountability of, from this point forward, it's on you. And some people would rather have a story of woe is me. Because as long as it's woe is me, somebody else has to be responsible for getting you to where you want to go. And you might not want to put in the work to be responsible enough to get yourself there. So I'm done with this one. Like, share, subscribe. We out. I gotta go. I'm tired. Peace.